Hello and welcome back inside the Parc Fermé for podcast number 772. This is Todd.
No, Todd, not now!
AKA Negative Camber, nestled in the middle of America.
You must convince the villagers that I'm harmless.
That's what I'm asking you to do. Why?
He's from Missouri, where they're all known to be killers of innocent men, women, and children.
Yeah, fair enough. Tonight, for your kind consideration, we are going to have dinner with all 10 team bosses. Yep, you heard that right. But before we do that, I have to introduce my guest tonight, which of course means, that's right, I got to go all the way to the right coast of our nation, nestled in our nation's capital, no less, where she plies her skills as a master statistician. She owns the U.S. government, I found out. The lovely, the redoubtable Grace, how you doing?
I don't know. If I owned the government, would I be on this podcast?
Maybe not.
I don't know. I don't know that I want to own the government either. Seems like a lot of responsibility.
It is a lot of responsibility. I agree. You know, Grace, speaking of responsibility, we also have another guest. Yep.
Wrecked from out of the wasteland. He's bad, he's beautiful, he's crazy.
Hello, everybody. This is Paul Charles, the International.
It's Paul. Paul, how you doing?
Good. Yep. Had a little break, getting ready for a couple more races. Season's really kicking in soon, so doing a lot of spreadsheeting and talking to people about various things.
Did you watch the NASCAR?
I watched the end of the NASCAR.
Because your friend won.
No, not this week. He didn't.
No, last week.
Last week he did. Yes.
I didn't watch this week. I watched the 500.
Yeah. No, Austin did win the 500. It was awesome. Yes,
that was good.
Yeah.
Did you watch the IndyCar?
I watched most of it. Yes.
Oh. Most of it, okay.
Yeah, it was good.
There's a
McLaughlin
gap
did
in the
a
middle.
hell of a job, man.
Yeah, he did.
Talk about Penske having it on a roll, right?
Yeah.
And a guy from touring cars jumping into Indy cars and starting winning.
Isn't that
really
cool?
impressive.
Roger and I are like this.
You are. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So
I used to work for him, you know.
Did you work for Roger?
Yeah, for a few years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just when I was driving and doing driving events and stuff. So you know that we did the whole lap thing, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So that's where I learned the ways of the Penske, which
is
the captain.
That's a class operation.
It's mighty impressive, that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, and his operation. It's a trickle down way of managing people and putting on anything, a race team, an event, whatever. I mean, he just does it the right way, and it was very impressive to be involved in that. And as I said, just everyone you meet in the Penske organization are kind of a trickle down from Roger, and they do things the right way, and they're usually pretty pleasant and polite about it too. So,
they are. I've met Roger twice, and he would have spent however much time I wanted talking about his race team. Then he took me over, introduced me to Tim Cindric. I did that twice. Talked to Tim. Super nice guy. Roger's a prince of a guy. They couldn't have been nicer. You know? They didn't know me from Adam. You know.
Yeah, you definitely got to root for them rather than against them. That's for sure.
Yeah. They're
nice.
Great. All right, look, folks.
I don't
tonight,
get to tell my Roger.
Go ahead. Yeah.
What? Just you guys get to meet Roger Penske?
I didn't know you and Roger were like this.
Actually, I went to Penske prom. I've been to their Christmas party.
That's right.
I dated one of their engineers.
That's right. Yeah, you used to go out with one of their engineers. That's right.
No kidding. Wow.
Yes.
See, small world.
Okay, so did you get drunk in front of Roger and embarrass yourself?
No.
Not like I did when I worked for him. So
she got drunk and did the chicken dance or something.
Yeah.
No, but it's I did get to meet Elio Castroneves. I mean, that was like, 20 years ago.
He's a great guy too.
Yeah.
He is a super guy. Yep.
Yeah. Every one of the guys that were driving for Penske
everybody's
are
very nice.
great guys. Nice people. All right. Thanks for that story, Grace.
There you go. See, we have all met Roger.
We all have a Penske story.
There I was, passed down the elevator. Roger comes in. He picks me up, asks me what my room number is, drops me off, checks in the next morning, makes sure I'm okay.
That's right. It's like Penske's like the Kevin Bacon of racing. It's the everyone links back to Roger at some point.
Yeah.
So Jill DeFerrin was their other driver at the time. And so what I also thought was funny was Elio Castroneves never wore a name tag, but Jill DeFerrin wore it the whole time as if he was just like one of us. Like, we know who you are. So I'm like going to the drink line, and he asked me where the restroom is. I'm trying to be cool. Like, he's just a person. He's just a person. Don't be starstruck. He's just a person. So I kind of like and make the point in some direction. And so when I go back to the table, I'm like, I just talked to Jill DeFerrin. What did he ask you? Where the bathroom is? And I'm like, and they were all just like, well, did you tell him? Because they work with him, right? Like, so to them, it was like, oh, yeah, Jill DeFerrin. But I was just like, yeah, I kind of pointed and mumbled some words and pointed in a direction. Hopefully he found it.
Well done. Glad you didn't crack under the pressure.
No, it was, but I did like that Roger Penske also introduced, hi, I'm Roger. Like, I don't know who the hell you are, dude. But also wore a name tag, was acted just like a person. So nice guy.
Super guy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you say, does yours say like, my name is Grace?
No, it just said my name, but you know.
His girlfriend.
Yeah.
Did it say, hello, hello, my name is Grace. Hello, I'm an engineer's girlfriend.
No, there was no title, just your name. Everybody just had their name. But, you know, everybody sat, you know, you sat with your like tribe. So you knew who like all the engineers were, they all sat together, all the like muckety mucks all sat with Roger, right? So you know, the drivers sat together with like Tim Cindric and his family. So
and you guys looked over and there's Paul at the muckety muck table with Roger.
Of course. Always. Even 20 years ago he's a muckety muck. We knew it.
Sure. Yeah. So look, tonight's episode, okay, look, the whole concept is pretty simple, really. It's straightforward anyway. So Paul and I had Wayne Sullivan, the F1 chef, on the show, right? Paul, as revealed by, it can be revealed, it's starting to sound like British press, Paul. Mm-hmm. It can be revealed that Paul himself is quite the amateur chef in the kitchen himself. And Grace loves this. And so we were talking about food with Wayne. We had a great time talking about Wayne. So last week when we were doing the podcast, before the podcast, we thought it came up something about, yeah, you know, if I had dinner with like, you know, Christian Horner, I'd ask him this or whatever. And I thought, you know, that would be an interesting. Paul was like, yeah, we could have like dinner with, you know, and then we got to all three talking about it. And we thought that would be a really cool show to talk about having dinner with each team principal, what we would eat, what we would drink, and the actual opening question that we would lead with at that dinner, which would obviously set the tone for the rest of the dinner and determine whether that was a long dinner or not. But we thought, all right, this way we can continue our sick obsession with weaving food-related things into a Formula One podcast, which only really belong in a Formula One podcast if you're talking to a guy like Wayne Sullivan. So we're continuing our obsession with that. And tonight we're going to run through each team and we're going to talk about them. We're going to share. So with that being said, are you both ready to reveal, right?
I'm ready. Everyone's going to be really hungry by the end of this.
I know. I was just thinking, like, I hope you just ate before. We should put a disclaimer. Please eat before you listen to this.
I know. You know, and it seems like, well, this is easy, right? But it actually may not be. I mean, what would you offer Toto, right? What wine would you choose with Mattia, right? Let's find out, shall we? All right. We're going to start off with the mighty team of Haas F1, which of course means that we're going to be having dinner with Gunther Steiner, or as we refer to him as Gunther, because like Madonna, he's on a single name basis. He's that popular. So Gunther, and I'm going to start my meal. We're going to start off with an appetizer. And because Gunther now is working for an American team, I thought he needs to have some American food, right? And what better than to go all the way to the Midwest? I know right and left coast have some very exotic flavors and great food, no doubt about it. But let's just go right into the heart of America and feed him the way the heart of America would eat. So the appetizer would be toasted ravioli. That's a very St. Louis, Missouri thing, toasted ravioli. So we're going to start off with T-Revs, which Paul can't abide. But we're going to start off with T-Revs as the appetizer. The main course, being that I was born and raised in Kansas City, home of barbecue. So it's going to be, and Kansas City barbecue is sweet and smoky, right? It's molasses based.
Oh, not this old nugget.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't get any better,
This
Paul.
is going to be like a 2-hour podcast just talking about
is.
the barbecue in Kansas City.
Let me tell you how they do it. No, I'm not. But anyway, Kansas City barbecue is going to be the meal. For dessert, we're going to have frozen custard concretes because that's a thing here in the Midwest, right?
They
so
are
we're going to have that. Yeah, they're wonderful, yeah. So that's dessert. For drink, Fitz's root beer, right?
Good choice.
That Fitz's root beer. And here's my first question to Gunther. So we sit down and I lean in and I say, Gunther, rich energy, Russian oligarchs. Is this a sign of how tough it is to find a sponsor when you're in the back of the grid, or is your picker just broke? That's my question.
That's good. That's good. It's close. I've got a close one to that.
Do you? Right.
Yeah.
So then he's wiping off his hands and getting ready to answer you, right?
Yeah. He looks at me and he says,
Sit down.
Right. So, all right. So shall we go with Grace or Paul? Who's ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Paul, hit it.
All right. So I didn't go with the appetizer and dessert thing because I didn't want to think that hard. But I did. So I'm generalizing here a little bit about the meal. But Gunther. So you got to think of Gunther. What are you gonna do? How does he act? How does he react? Do you want to go to a formal dinner? Do you not? I say no. You know. So I picked pizza at a little beach bar because I could just imagine Gunther sitting back there, you know, with his hands behind his head, just chatting away and just looking at stuff, half paying attention to the conversation, half not, you know, as he's wont to do. So I chose the pizza just because the ambiance instead of kicking back at a beach bar, something like that. Now the drink I chose, not defined what the drink is, but it's going to have something with really fancy, you know, with pineapple and this kind of stuff in it, like one of those big crazy straws, you know, because I just want to see him just go off on what the hell did you just serve me as a drink, you know. What the hell is this? What the hell is it not drink?
Great big huge umbrella drink.
Yeah, so I just wanted to see Gunther's eyes as his big drink was laid before him in order for them to try to figure out what it is and what he has to do with it. And my question was, I said, very similar to you. So I said, my question was, so I guess the rich energy guys don't look so bad now, do they, Gunther? Huh? And then just let him unleash on potential, unpotential, paid, not really getting paid sponsors for the Haas F1 team.
That's awesome.
Some therapy. With his giant
let it out.
Drink,
might be some hugging, you know.
Tears
or screaming.
Screaming. Lots of swearing for sure.
Punching, whatever. All of it. Get it out, man. You got a long season.
What'd you have, Grace?
So I also had a similar thought, which I think is a little creepy because at first I was like, so he lives in North Carolina, and I thought, oh, barbecue, this is great. And I thought, wow, he's also Italian, so maybe pizza would be good. But I'm going to go with barbecue because I, unlike Todd, am a big fan of dry rub. And so I feel that I also like vinegar, right? So this is a whole different, I know, right? Todd will never speak to me again.
That's not barbecue.
We've had many differences over the years, but you know, this is the one that will end our friendship of 20 years, right? So the best ribs I've ever had is at Central Barbecue in Memphis. So we're getting some of those dry rubbed. For dessert, we're going to eat banana pudding because that is by far the best, you know, and you have to have just enough of everything to kind of hold it together. Not too many bananas. I mean, there's definitely a quantity of banana to Nilla wafer to pudding to whipped cream going on here with this banana
very
pudding.
important.
Very. So for drink, I always just like a wheat beer, maybe a lager. Or we could just go straight to Long Island iced teas, which I also think would be fun.
Ooh, in Memphis, that's probably pretty popular. Yeah.
Right. So just go with something that's all alcohol and sugar.
Just be tumbling down Beale Street.
Exactly. Again, kind of like the giant, fishbowl drink. We're just going to go straight to alcohol and sugar, right? So for conversation, however, I'm just going to talk about ribs. I am interested in the drama. Of course I am, but let's just talk. What is he like? Pork ribs, beef ribs, baby back, spare ribs, barbecue sauce, wet, dry. We're just.
The team's not even worth talking about at this point. You just could talk about food.
I just think it would be something that nobody's asked him, right? So I think
probably
this would be an interesting conversation. And like we just had, I've never had a conversation with somebody about ribs that it doesn't end up in almost a fist fight, right?
Right.
Everybody has their reasons and their like you said, oh, those aren't ribs, right? Everybody has this. So I think this is a unifier. And again, maybe it's a little therapeutic. He could yell at the ribs and he would feel better.
There you go. All right. I think he'd be a Kansas City style fan.
I don't
myself,
know.
But...
North Carolina.
It's a bit messy.
Yeah. It's probably mustard base.
So. Well, see, we can agree on that. I'm not really.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Alfa Romeo. Our guest is Fred Vasseur. Oui, right? So for my meal, for my appetizer, being that Fred's all very French, I went with scallops, right? For the main course, I went burgundy beef stew because it's a classic, right? Mm-hmm. For dessert, you have to go creme brulee, right?
France?
Yeah. I'm keeping the whole French theme going here.
All right.
I'm trying to make Fred happy because he just launched a car and everybody said, "Oh yeah, we got a hell of a lot of work to do." So, well, Fred, that's just not good. So,
Todd just likes using the little blowtorch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Who doesn't?
Yes, who doesn't? I would actually want the creme brulee and have Fred do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be good. So
you
creme
want him
brulee.
to serve you rather than eat with you?
No, I don't want Fred to serve me. No. I want him to eat with me. So, okay, and
just
I know
a wafer thin mint, sir.
Just wafer thin. But it could be a book of it. Go up. So I know this isn't popular anymore, this wine, but I had one recently that was really good. So I'm going to go with Beaujolais, and it was awesome. And here's my question for Fred. What is the goal of this team? I understand Chinese and...
What are you doing?
Is this what you want? What are you doing? I understand the Chinese investment may have dictated your recent choice, but why not move Mick Schumacher up as part of the Ferrari stable? Why wouldn't you do that? And if you're going to say, well, the Chinese driver, Zhou, is new and rookie, so we need a veteran. Okay, well, Mick's been driving a little while, so I don't know. I would have thought Mick would have been less expensive than Valtteri, but I don't know. That's what I would ask him. Paul, how about you? What would you do with Fred?
With Fred, well, it'd be sophisticated, pretty sure. We're not going to get a little deep. We're not going to go to the buffet, and start gouging down.
Not going to be wearing flip-flops.
So we're going to go with finesse. So we're going to eat mussels and pommes frites.
Nice.
One of my favorite it's a weird combo, but it's just delicious.
It's delicious.
Yeah. Oh my God. I just love that. And with that, I'm going to have a low oak Chardonnay because I don't like oaky wines at all. But you can't have red wine, obviously, with mussels and pommes frites. Right. So you got to toe the line there. And I think Fred would be, he would just leave the table if he started to drink anything other. He'd be deeply offended by that. The combination.
Yes.
And my question for him would be: so how often does Mattia come over and drop off a package for the team?
Like the racing
just
point?
put this on the car and don't ask any questions.
Here's a thumb drive. I'm not saying there's engine software updates on this.
Here's a new front wing. We kind of saw that just little barge board you had out there.
Right.
We think you might want to try something a little different.
Mind the bubble wrap.
I like the idea of it coming on a thumb drive, like it's the early 2000s, as opposed to like over air or something. Like
no, that's traceable.
Up and down. Just stick this thumb drive in.
Right, it's traceable, So, Grace, what would you do with Fred?
So I'm thinking, I went a little more casual. I'm thinking like your classic charcuterie, some French cheese, some meat, some French bread, right? And then for dessert, totally doing some Swiss chocolate in honor of the team.
French fries. And to drink, Peru. Sorry, it's a movie reference.
Oh.
French dressing. Go ahead.
And so for dessert, we're going to do Swiss chocolate in order of the, the team.
Nice.
And macaroons, right? So the Swiss chocolate is for the team.
Of course.
Macaroons, I like them. And they're French, so why not?
Why not?
So, so cheese, meat, nice.
Where would you meet him? Where in France would we meet Frederick Vasseur?
The FIA cafeteria.
Yummy.
I did
Michael Massey's the
yeah. Okay, you want a little more? Give me a little more. Okay.
Okay, table for 3.
Who are you here
4.
for again?
Yeah. Michael Massey's the maitre d'. That was the other job they offered him.
That was the other job. Let's not get into that. I don't want to have more death threats.
No, I know. I don't either.
I was just thinking, like, again, like low-key picnic kind of idea.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing too fancy.
Oh, romantic picnic on the vineyards. Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sounds nice, right?
Nice.
So I would go with a drink. I would probably go with a ruby port. You need something that's kind of going to go across all of your courses. So I think a port always works nicely. And my convo starter, I just want funny Kimi Räikkönen stories. And then we're going to cut the dinner short because you got shit to do, buddy. Like, why are we here right now? We have some problems. So we're just going to share. I'm just going to listen to some funny Kimi Räikkönen stories, and then we're moving on.
Thanks for the invite, Fred, but you got to go back to work.
Yeah,
Get to
right.
work.
You don't have time for this. Who do you think you are?
What are you doing out of here? Grab yourself a land share. Get your ass back to work.
Here's some cheese. Go.
Right. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that Kimi Räikkönen stories, I could probably listen to a couple hours of those from Fred.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good one. All right, next up, Williams. Our guest tonight for the Williams dinner is Jos Capito. My meal, let's start it off with an app. I'm going to start with a Bavarian cheese board for my app. For the main course, of course, it has to be schnitzel. Jos is German, right?
Like
For dessert?
Half of the grid is German
Yeah,
or
I know.
English.
I know.
It did make a culinary challenge if you
It
went
did.
that route.
I know.
It did
I know.
make it difficult, yeah.
It did. For dessert, German blueberry cheesecake. My drink, I don't really know. I'm not up on which is the best one of these in Germany, but a really nice Hefeweizen. So I think that would be good. And my question is this. You have the same engine, same gearbox as Mercedes, and a cost cap. What is preventing you from designing a good chassis to move further up the midfield? And does Doralton Capital, the owners, have the appetite to invest in remedying that? That's my question.
Ooh, that's serious stuff right there.
It is serious because I'm tired of Williams languishing at the back. You have the same Mercedes engine, the same gearbox. Just build a frickin' chassis that can handle it, right?
Yeah, you better ask that question before the cheesecake comes.
Yeah, I might want to. Yeah, I might want to. Yeah.
What is a German blueberry cheesecake, by the way?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah.
What's the difference?
Awesome. It's like loaded with blueberries. It's like blueberries with a little bit of cheesecake in it.
Oh, it's like the banana pudding, right? It's like just enough cake
it's got to have the right
blueberries.
Okay.
Exactly.
I'll have to check that out someday.
So, Paul, would you ask us, tell us what management skills from VW did you bring over to Williams?
Good question. So with Jos, obviously he did a lot of rallying, right? And I was going to ask him. Well, we'll get to the question in a minute. So with that, obviously rallying, you're on your foot, you're traveling a lot. You're not sitting there with your big motorhome and your big enclave, and you're not getting your lunch and breakfast all delivered, hand delivered with a butler and everything. You're kind of eating on the road. So I just said, we're just going to stop by whatever your best stop off area is and get some great German sausage. And just have him kind of show me all around what it's like to eat on the road during those rallying days. He spent 10 years on the rally circuit and the cars are awesome, but the lifestyle is so different from Formula One, right? So as I said, you got to eat and fly on the road because you never know when you're gonna have to change a tire or, panel beat some of the stuff back in.
So you're basically stopping at like a Wawa.
No,
right?
No. We're not in America.
No, I mean like whatever version of a Wawa is, right? Is that what you're like a?
Sure, or maybe one of those rally stages. There's a little German hut off to the side that has the best sausage.
Sausages.
You don't ask where the sausage came from or what it's made of. You just
fell
eat
off
it.
The truck.
Right.
Yeah, you just eat it.
You stop and here, Paul. They got Clark bars in here. Let's go grab it.
Yeah.
So with that, you're gonna wash it down with a nice Vorsteiner, I believe.
Yes,
a Vorsteiner with the sausage, right? A nice Vorsteiner.
Yeah.
And my question is, who the hell does number 2 work for? I want to know who the rest of this team is. Who are the management? Who are Doralton Capital? I don't know who they are. I know who you are, but who are the rest of the people?
One square on that org chart.
Yeah, it's just Yost, and then everything goes down.
Yeah, it's like, who are you working for? Who are these people? What do they want with us? Yes.
Right. I'm not a number. I'm a free man. You are the new number 2. So yeah, good question. All right, Grace, hit us. Yost, what would you do with Yost?
So I'm gonna go. We're gonna eat Ethiopian food for dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
nice.
Because he's yeah.
The only time I've eaten Ethiopian food is in Washington, D.C. But
So I'm getting there, Todd. If you give me a moment, it does tie
That was
in.
Paul. That was Paul,
he
not
said-
me.
No, Paul said he's eating it in D.C. You were like, because he's, and I'm just saying,
Ah,
so
okay.
wait a minute.
Okay.
I'll get there. I get it. He's not Ethiopian. Anyway, as I was saying,
As far as you know.
as far as I know, you're correct. As far as his Wikipedia page says, you're right.
which is correct always.
Of course it is. It's Wikipedia. Anyway, it's how I got through school. No, anyway, Wikipedia didn't exist when I was in school. So Ethiopian food. And you're right, because DC has the second largest population of people from Ethiopia outside of Ethiopia. So there's a lot of Ethiopian food here. And I had never had it coming from, Pennsylvania. We don't have an Ethiopian food. So Ethiopian food, it's kind of like Indian food is the closest thing to it because it's a lot of like stew. Right. It's not really, not flavor wise, but it's like
flavor wise, yeah.
stews and, that kind of concept.
No knives and
curries.
forks. Mm-hmm.
No. So everything, right. You eat it with the injera bread, right? So everything, you pick it up with the bread and eat it, right? All with your hands. So it's just a completely different experience if you've never had it, and everything just comes out on a giant plate. So everybody's eating off the same common plate. You're all kind of sharing together. So
very COVID friendly eating.
Well, we're gonna pretend that in this world it's fine. So I don't know. I just don't eat it. It's fine. It's delicious. It's so spicy. It'll kill it, right? I think that's the official.
I think that's how it works. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna eat this Ethiopian food together. Ethiopians, a lot of cuisine is just you eat food. There isn't necessarily like courses. They don't really have dessert. You just eat food. But they do have what I feel is hands down the best coffee. So we're going to drink some Ethiopian coffee for dessert. They do also have like this honey wine drink that's really sweet. That's good, kind of a dessert beverage. That was as close as I could get you for dessert. And really, as you guys had highlighted already, that he's had this vast swath of experience. And so I only know him from his 4-month stint in McLaren before he got ousted there with Ron Dennis. So I started out like, well, I want to know about that. But then the more I kind of Googled him, I was like, oh, right, there's the rally stuff. And, and now he's with Williams and he worked on a Dakar team, so I just thought it would be really interesting that we're going to have this meal where it's a lot of sharing. And I just really want to kind of hear about his different experiences because some of the team principals don't have as vast varieties. So we'll talk WRC, we can talk Dakar, we can talk, of course, we're going to talk about those 4 months working with Ron because that's really what I want to know about.
Well, everybody wants to know about it.
Nice, Ron.
Like, how the hell did that work for you, buddy? Like, that must have been terrible. So,
right.
And, and what he's going to do with Williams, because I do think that in a similar position, right? That here, what are you going to do? How are you going to make this team successful? What is your future? What is your work
right.
plan? So,
all right.
What's it all about, Basil?
That's right.
Yeah, all right.
What does it all mean, Basil?
Who throws a shoe?
I mean, honestly.
Seriously.
So, all right, next up, everyone's favorite, Aston Martin.
We haven't even said his name. We're never going to get through this season.
So if I ate dinner with Mike Crack, imagine that getting paging Mike Crack. So
His parents were horrible.
Yeah, they were mean.
Yeah.
So Mike, I would say you work for Aston Martin, which means you work for the incomparable Lawrence Stroll, right? All very Canadian. We got to go north to the Great White North. So my meal, the appetizer, split pea soup, of course. The main, Paul, no shock, poutine.
Oh, yes.
Delicious.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
For dessert, beaver tails.
Is that a dessert?
It is.
Okay.
Pulled dough.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
with
isn't that
sugar.
fried
Oh,
dough
okay. It's
sugar?
not the tail of a sugary
No, it
version
looks
of
like a beaver tail.
tail. Okay.
We call them elephant ears. It's the
Right.
same idea, right? Like it's a
Okay,
stretched
now I know
dough
what it is.
Right.
and cinnamon.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not an
so-
actual beaver tail.
No, not a real beaver tail.
I
You
don't
get
know about
arrested
that.
for
So,
that.
so is
Paul.
that when you go to Aunt Annie's in Canada, it's a beaver tail, not a pretzel?
There's
Yeah.
still pretzels.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's for dessert.
Dipped in butter, then sugar, then oh my God, there's like
Fried,
nothing left of
delicious.
the bread. It's just the goo on top.
The goo.
That's some nasty stuff.
So Paul would have clearly gone for a Labatt's or something, but I think you got to go old school. I think you got to go with a moose head.
Okay.
You know, that's old school, right? So my question is this for Mike. I'd look at Mike and I would say, Mike, level up. Has Lawrence ever stood up in front of you, stuffed his hand down his pants, and adjusted his junk in your face?
And he'll say,
you
yes,
can
that was
punch
part
him.
of the interview.
Yeah. And by the way, do you get more than 30 minutes to explain very complicated racing issues to Lawrence?
Mm-hmm.
That would be my questions.
No.
That's good.
Sure he doesn't.
No, you do not.
Yeah. Paul, what would you do with Mike
Okay.
Crack?
Yeah. So I didn't go with the Canadian one. I like that slalom. I didn't even think about that, but there's a lot of good Canadian food I could have thrown in there, you know. Could add some Tim Hortons donuts for the dessert too. But so I looked up Luxembourg cuisine. Oddly enough, they steal everything from Germany.
Right.
So basically, I'm going to go there for meat pies and a potato pancake, which are delicious.
Nice.
They have a little parsley on them and stuff like that. So I thought that sounded pretty good, you know. Nice, wholesome meal, you know, that he's going to get, you know. But the drink is a Moselle lager. Luxembourg. Evidently, they make their own wine and they have their own beer. So I looked that up. That looked like the only beer I'd ever seen in my life that comes from Luxembourg, quite honestly. So obviously, pie, potato pancakes, beer, you know, it's pretty much a common man's kind of deal. But my question would have been, did you actually meet Lawrence before you took the job?
Gosh.
Because, you know, did he just say, oh, I'm going to go work for Aston Martin?
That guy's here?
This isn't Aston Martin. What is this?
So
and
you
who
met
is
him
that man?
You met him and then signed the really.
You actually met him first before you took the job.
Okay.
I mean, at least with Otmar, he kind of inherited Lawrence and had a reason for being there, you know. But
that wasn't Otmar's fault.
Yeah. And then my other thing was very similar to you. I said, and you need to sum everything up in 20 minutes. Go.
Yeah, right. All right, Grace, what would you do with Mike?
All right. So I went more with it. Aston Martin, right? They're the classic British car manufacturer, right?
Sure.
But I refuse to eat like 90% of British cuisine.
What?
So,
you have been to England? Come on.
All right.
Gastropubs are the best thing.
That's probably true. Yeah, but I don't think you can claim Indian food.
No, we do.
No, they do.
Yeah, we do.
I understand that you do.
We also claimed India for a while.
That's what I'm
they did
saying
that too.
here. Right. I think the Indian people are a little, you know, maybe not on the same page with you guys there. But anyway, I digress. So I'm not taking my cracked fish and chips, is I guess what I'm saying here.
I would.
So is this your turn?
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm going with poutine.
Peanut
I don't
gallery
know what
really
you're
getting
doing.
on you, Grace. Yeah.
I love poutine. I thought that was a great choice.
All
We
right.
can have anything
Go ahead.
with a cup of fries and some gravy and some cheese.
Yeah, who would? Yeah, right. All right. So what would
right.
you give him?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that we're going to go someplace near water. We can either go to Vancouver, which would be fine, get some lovely seafood, right?
Yeah.
That's what I want to eat, right? And we're definitely having some oysters and some sea urchin because I had never had sea urchin before when I was in Montreal for the Grand Prix a couple years ago. And that is delicious. I now understand why they're so like spiny and hard to get open, and that sea otters like go to great lengths to get that sea urchin out. Delicious. So
now he's from Germany.
Yeah, right.
You think he's even had fish before?
Yeah, I'm.
Lutefisk. Maybe he spent some time up in the
maybe in a jar,
Under a
pickled,
tube.
maybe.
Yeah. Oh. Maybe.
Fish in a tube, delicious.
They have it at IKEA. I don't know. So I think they do. So I think that I was just gonna go full like seafood tower, like you get in Vancouver. Delicious. We're gonna just go top end seafood.
All right.
And then
So Lawrence is paying the bill on this one.
absolutely,
Yeah.
I'm not paying it. That's for sure.
You could go to the fish house in Vancouver.
Yeah.
in
That's
Stanley
also
Park.
delicious.
Yeah,
It
it was
is.
good. I ate that.
I
That was
did.
good.
It is nice. Nice look, nice ambiance.
Ambiance. Yeah.
They don't have sea urchin though, so
Oh,
that's-
okay. Well, who does?
But you're right. I
Yeah.
did. The fish house is great.
Yeah.
So, but I will bring the British beverage in. A nice brown ale would be great. I think a British brown ale is the way to go. That I can get behind the
With
drinking
fish.
parts. We're gonna have courses. There'll be a palate.
Okay,
cleanser.
okay.
Yeah.
More closer to dessert than
Yeah,
the
right.
appetizer.
Yeah, not with the fish, right? I was just trying to get the brown ale in there because
Good.
again, I can get
Right.
behind some British beer, right? You guys do that well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grace.
Yeah, no problem. You have my seal of approval.
And
All right. So
your
then-
question.
Yeah, since I don't know a lot about Mike, and so when I went to Google him, there is not a lot to know. Unlike Yost, who was like a plethora of information when I Googled him, right? So what we're gonna do is, those quizzes that people do on, on social media, which
Yeah,
are just
yeah.
a way to get your personal information and your passwords.
Right.
People think they're really fun. We're gonna do those. Except I'm not interested in his personal information or his passwords. I just think it would be, how many tattoos you have. Have you ever been to Alaska? We're gonna do one of those little social media.
Top 20 foods you had never eaten. Yeah.
Do you like
Exactly.
gladiator movies?
See? I think you're
Yeah.
right. We could do some BuzzFeed quizzes, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that would be the way to go, and it would be safe because it would not be on his social media where people could harvest his data.
So Grace is like 3/4 through the dinner. Oh my God, you're an INFJ.
Who knew?
Who knew? That's nice. I
You
like
have 4
it.
tattoos. That's
Right.
fascinating.
Well, see, nobody knows anything about it.
No one knows what it means, but it's
Right?
provocative.
He's provocative, Grace.
No
Into New
idea.
Delhi. That's amazing.
Right. He's provocative. I like it. Okay.
Right.
All right. So let's move on to our next guest. Now, this one's a very special guest for me because I damn near did eat with him. I had
You
appetizers.
saw him eating anyway.
I saw him eat.
Did that count as eating with him?
I was about 30 foot away from him at a big swanky F1 thing, right? And it was just there because I was, with the media, and so yeah, I've told this story before, but if you're new to the podcast, so it's in Austin. We're at this really nice party. We're there meeting and greeting different people, and Jackie Stewart got the honor to meet Sir Jackie, and that was delightful. A super nice guy, and because if it's not Scottish, it's crap, right? So anyway, everybody's there, and everybody, Floppy, all these people are there. All these luminaries are there. All the team bosses, Bernie Eccleston, all of them are there. And in comes Franz Toast. He comes in. He has no entourage. He comes in, and he starts orbiting the room kind of at a quick pace. Nobody's talking. He's not stopping and talking to anyone. He goes to the bar, kind of snags a drink, goes over to a standing table, snags like a couple appetizers, kind of gnaws on him there, and nobody's there with him. And nobody goes over and chats with him. And I thought, well, hell, I'm going to go over and talk to him. Why not? He's got nobody chatting him up. He's got nobody talking to him. Poor guy's lonely. I'm going to go over there. Here's me, an idiot. Maybe there's a reason nobody's talking to him. And if I'm seen with him, I don't want that on me, right? No, I don't think that far ahead. So I start heading over to talk to him. Right as I get about 10 foot, he immediately turns on his heels. He didn't see me. He was done.
Well, so you say.
Well, yeah. He turns
It's like,
around.
this guy's coming over to talk to me about barbecue. I'm out of here.
I'm out of there. Yeah. Yeah. So I start walking over there. I get 10 feet. He turns on his heels and he's right by the front door and he just takes out and goes right out the front door. Right. And so he goes right out the front door. And I thought, wow. And I kind of stopped and paused and I kind of looked there and I'm thinking, okay. So then I start to follow him out. I thought, well, I'll just grab, I go, cab is already gone. It's like, damn, dude, that was quick. Anyway, long story longer. Here's the deal. All right. So, AlphaTauri. The guest is Franz Toast. The meal, appetizer, Linzer Tort.
Oh, good.
Got to go with the
choice.
Linzer Tort.
I have no
Right?
idea what that is.
Well, it's not important, Paul. You'll have to Google it
Okay.
later. I don't have time to explain it.
All right.
We got a lot to get through. All right.
Okay.
Main. For the main course, nothing because he would have left by then.
Yeah, that's That's all right. That's all you had was the torte.
So that's it. We'd have and dessert, none. He's gone. He's already gone, right? He only does appetizers, Franz Toast. That's all he does. He goes in, eats appetizers, gone, right? The drink, all we'd have time for is an aperitif, a Kir Royale, right? That's it. That's all I'd have. My quick question, I have to jam it in there, is this. How the hell are you going to keep Pierre if Red Bull don't take him? That's my opening question.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know, Franz. All right. Paul, what would you do?
All right. So obviously we know Franz, he's a pretty fit guy, right? I mean, he does,
pretty wiry.
He can leave a party pretty quick. So he's got some quick legs. I feel like, he's probably a runner. He's, doesn't drink heavily, eats lightly, that kind of thing. He doesn't suffer fools lightly.
Right.
No offense, Todd, but, he's got enough time. He's busy. So I think we got to get him quick, as kind of you were preluding to. Got to have meat quick, else it's going to be over. If we're sitting there and we order some extravagant appetizer that's going to take half an hour, he's already going to be gone.
Yeah.
So we got to get something quick. So I think a very fine, beautiful Caesar salad, perhaps a soup du jour, depending on what the flavor is for that day. But something small, light, that we can get through, do a little chat, no big knives and forks and spoons and all that kind of stuff. To drink, I don't think he's drinking alcohol. I think, it's during the day. It's a fine sparkling water, much like a little Topo Chico, something like that, a little lime twist in it, So he doesn't want to cloud his judgment. He's a busy boy trying to get these AlphaTauris going quick and keep Pierre Gasly on the team as well, right?
Yeah, right.
So my big question to him would be, do you have any of those AlphaTauri sweatshirts spare?
Because they're like $700 online.
Right.
If they gave you a couple extra that you don't want to use, bring them my way.
That's right.
I like it. Yeah, you're about the same size.
I think I'm the same size. Yeah.
All right. Oh, interesting. Grace, what would you do with Franz Toast?
All right, so I thought you all would also go down this line, so I'm glad you did, because it wouldn't have been funny by person number 3. But I went with Franz Toast. We're going to have some French toast.
Of course you are.
And you'll be laughing the whole meal about that.
But you at least you'd have to say it's Pan Purdue, right? Right?
Well, I mean, I just had dinner with Mike Crack. If I made it through that dinner without laughing the whole time, I can eat French toast with Franz Toast.
If you told Franz Toast you're going to have French toast, he'd be like this, and he'd say, Grace, this little thing just saved your life.
Wait, come across the table.
Oh, man.
I've had enough of you.
So
I have to deal with Christian Horner every other week.
So we're going to have French toast. We're going to have sausage patties or scrapple if he's feeling adventurous.
Yeah.
We're going to have fresh fruit, but no melons, because melons are gross and they're waste of space. It's only that high-quality fruit. For drinks, we're going to have Bloody Marys without celery, because celery is gross and is taking up space that could be alcohol. So why there's celery in there, I don't know.
I hate celery. Yeah.
Or, if he wants, he could have a dry champagne mimosa if he's not a Bloody Mary kind of guy. So a little orange juice is good.
He's gonna take you on a run right after that.
Yeah.
That would be great after a Bloody Mary. That's terrible. Right. I just drank a gallon of tomato juice. Let's run.
Let's roll.
Great idea. Oh.
Well, you got New Balance on, right? Oh.
Yeah.
Gonna run around the circuit. Check it out for this weekend.
Doing the track walk. So what's your question for Franz?
So this one was actually Formula 1 related, because I really want to know the dirt of what it's like being Red Bull's junior team. Now they're the sister team, or how does that relationship work?
To be the whipping
right?
boy.
Right. I just kind of want some dirt on the day-to-day of having to deal with being the B team to Red Bull. What is that like for you? How do you
Adrian Newey comes by, throws some plans out the window, just keeps on rolling.
He rolls that Pinewood Derby car in. Here are your designs for next year. Right. So that's what I want. I want the dirt on kind of how that works for them.
So you'd like to know what it's like to be the AAA team, AAA ball down there. Yeah.
To Red Bull, which I can't imagine is fun.
Right. How does how does Helmet treat you versus how he treats the Red Bull team?
Hey, we need your driver tomorrow.
And every time you groom a good driver, they pull him out. Yeah.
Right.
How do you deal with that?
Well, next up is the Franche team, formerly known as Renault, called Alpine. Our guest for this dinner is Otmar Szafnauer, the Romanian. Yes, he's American, but he's Romanian by heritage, right? So being that he's Romanian by heritage, it's easy to jump him over in America. He's had plenty. He lived in Detroit, for crying out loud. He worked for Ford or somebody. He's had all the American food he wants, right? So I'm going to take him back to Romania.
Ooh.
But I'm going to open an app. This is a little unorthodox. I'm going to open the appetizer as vodka because I may need to loosen him up a little bit. So we're going to start with vodka, get him a little loosened up, He just came off that stint, at Aston and all the, bankruptcy and buyout and, Farce India and all that stuff, right? I'm going to loosen him up. For the main course, mici with polenta side, right? Very Romanian. For dessert, amandine, of course, right? Got to do that. The drink, I've chosen a Diamant by Villa Vinea. It's a Romanian food wine.
Okay.
So I had to dig deep for a Romanian
it's wine
food
that's kind of stodgy, and you can spread it on toast.
Yeah. Well,
the food wine.
It's like syrup. It's just you get it out with a knife. No, it's
yum.
This is some deep research you guys have done. Like you
I
found
did.
the one wine from Luxembourg. You're finding like the one
from Romania. Yeah. I had to.
From Romania,
well, there's
right?
more than one, but yeah, I did have to dig for this one because I was looking for a kind of wine that might pair with that. All right. So, and I don't know if it would or not. I haven't had it, but I'm willing to try it, and I'm willing to expose and try it with Otmar. What the hell? Okay. So here's my question for Otmar. Did Lawrence ever stand up in front of you, in front of your face, and stuff his hands down his pants and adjust his junk?
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he said yes just once,
right,
before I joined Renault.
Right, and why do you think I'm here?
Right. And then I'm going to say, okay, so seriously, you've made a lot out of a little at Force India. What happened at Aston? And with Renault's backing, surely you have more resources now to do more. So can you be as successful with more resources and more people as you were with smaller, more agile team and limited resources? That actually didn't really work well when you were over at BR Honda and ultimately Honda, where you had unlimited resources. So I know your track record with limited resources, small staff, and low expectations. But how do you feel going into big resources, big staff, big expectations?
That's a great question.
Yes. So that's what
some people flounder, some people just can work in that small kind of sandbox, but once they get exposed to the big pressure and the big money, and it's sometimes too big for them to handle. So.
Right. So that's I'm curious. All right, Paul, what would you do with Otmar?
All right, so with Otmar, we're going full Indian. I mean, the amount of time he spent with VJ, and I'm sure he picked up a few tips on, and I'm sure VJ was, taking him to the best Indian. I'm going to have him pick it, in fact.
Yeah.
You take me to London, we're going to go eat at the best Indian, and let's just go the full gamut,
Right.
Appetizers, naan bread, 3 curries, spice levels, all kinds of stuff. We can skip dessert because that's a waste of time. But, we got to get, there's less room for more curry, right?
You're going to have bread.
Bread, yeah. So that's for sure. As I said, he spent a lot of time with VJ. That must have been quite an experience.
Right.
Dealing with the character as such, like that.
Right.
So that'd be an interesting conversation, I'm sure, which would spout off. Well, remember last time I ate Indian, some naan bread, garlic naan with VJ. This is what happened.
Right.
So drink, I'm going to go with an old-fashioned with a splash of ginger beer.
Nice.
That's my new drink, by the way. So I thought I'd share that with Otmar, seeing as he was sharing with me, the finest Indian food in
just
London.
A little taste of Charsley, a little.
Yep. Little cherry in it. It's old-fashioned, little splash of ginger beer just knocks it over the edge. Goes well with Indian food too, because of the little ginger bits.
Nice.
So anywho, that was. Oh, there's a cat in the shop.
Always.
Oh, tail check.
Always.
And my question would be, back to once again where he just left Aston, to say, were you pushed or did you run very, very fast from Aston once you were embedded in it and realized how this whole thing was going to shake out.
Right. Were you pushed or were you pulled?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good question. Grace, what would you do with Otmar?
I like that. At what point did you realize this was a mistake?
At what point did you realize I got to get the hell out of here?
Yeah. When I saw it on that TV show,
Yeah.
I was like,
I had to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Otmar, I was going to go with Detroit Pizza, being that he spent his formative years in Detroit. I did. Even though you were like, oh, he's tired of that. I'm still going to go with some square Detroit pizza because I like square pizza.
Is that Detroit pizza or is that Chicago pizza?
No, Chicago is deep dish.
Yeah,
okay.
Chicago's deep dish. St. Louis is square too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
So Detroit is square pizza, but normal thickness.
No, it's thicker because it's square. Like, it's not as thin as New York pizza. Like, New York pizza is the thinnest.
No, St. Louis is super
Chicago.
thin. It's a round pizza, super thin, cut in squares.
Oh, see, Detroit is like a square, like brownies.
Literally
like
a
square.
Yeah, no. Ours is round, but it's cut in squares, and it's super thin. I hate it, but
Yeah. So, Detroit is a little thicker. Not as thick as Chicago, right? But
gotcha. Okay.
Thicker.
So
than
would you guys go cruising out to 8 Mile, or what would you do?
Sure. I mean, but so I think that. So I will give a shout out to
a little rap battle.
You and Otmar keeping things real.
He's got his Lawrence.
Oh my God.
Lyrics. Yeah.
Oh, that would be hilarious. I would need more to drink, I think, for that to happen. But so I assume there would be a question about toppings. What toppings would you have on your pizza, Grace? I'm glad you asked. We're going to go with the Flip Medley Special, which is pepperoni, sausage, garlic, and mushrooms on our Detroit pizza.
Like those toppings.
Yeah, me too. Sounds good.
Crafted pizza. I know who to marry. Yeah. And then we're going to have a big chunk of tiramisu for dessert.
Nice. Yeah.
For drink, we're going to have, I'm finally getting into wine. I realized at some point, too, that I'd gone through like half the grid and we'd had no wine yet. So we're going to have a nice California Barbera. So it's a little fruity. You could also do, you could pick, there's many California wines you can pick from. But, you want something a little sweet, a little fruity to kind of go with the tomato sauce. So I like a Barbera with my pizza. And I think similar to you guys, like, just wherever you want to start. I want to hear about VJ. I want to hear about Larry. I want to hear about El Plan. All of it. What the hell is going on? How was it working at the other team where you'd been there for all 3 iterations? How's it coming into Alpine with this iteration?
Right.
Just go, like, word vomit, whatever.
Right.
I just want it all.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Let's see. Next up is McLaren. That means our guest is Andreas Seidel, right?
Yeah.
For the Mio, my app is no app because he seems like a no BS kind of guy to me.
It's true.
Nice guy. He seems like a nice guy, but he seems kind of like I'm kind of like Paul. That's a waste of calories. Let's just get to the main, right?
So I had Zach as the team boss here.
He's the CEO.
He's the CEO.
Oh well.
But Zach, so I'll let that go because you and Zach are like this.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So, Andrea. So the main. Well, it's McLaren. It's British. I'm going, Paul, with a really good Cornish pasty.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Why not?
That's hard to find, quite honestly.
I don't know.
Do you have to go to Cornwall to get it?
I believe you probably do to get a good one. Yes. There's many iterations of the pasty, and 95% of them aren't that great.
Okay. So maybe we'd be better off sticking with a Hot Pocket?
Same thing. Just less potato.
Right. So go with a Cornish pasty. For dessert, Paul, you're going to love this because you're English. You're going to love it. For dessert, I'm going with a strawberry fool. Strawberries and cream, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Did you grow up with?
No, I did not. That was too fancy for us. No, we just had something and custard.
Right.
Basically, suet pudding and custard.
There you go.
Whether it be spotted dick or whatever you want.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Again, British cuisine. Hello.
Paul, yeah, this is a
Jam, roly poly, and custard. Oh, there's no end to that.
Don't ruin our clean
it's a
rating.
clean podcast, Paul. No spotted dick talk. Can't handle that here.
You've
Not
already
this
mentioned.
evening.
You've mentioned Larry touching himself 3 times now, and you're going to
And now you're
Paul.
talking
You're against
spotted
me?
dick. I know.
Yeah.
So, Paul, you're the sporting manager for an Aston Martin team. Has Lawrence ever stood up in front of you?
There goes our clean rating.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Not physically, but figuratively. Yeah.
Right. So yes, I'm gonna go with Strawberry Fool. All right, for the drink, Paul, I'm thinking it could be different brands. I don't care. Either a stout or a brown ale.
Okay. Nice.
What do you like better, stout or a brown ale?
Oh, when I have a stout, I usually mix it. I do a 50-50, usually now with an IPA, because I do like stout, but it's just a little too thick. So the brown ale, I think, is you can eat that. I mean, drink that just as it is. So
Okay.
I like them both, but I would say probably a really good brown ale is probably going to tip the balance there.
Okay.
I agree.
Brown
You
ale.
didn't
Okay.
ask for my opinion, but I also agree.
But do you? Well, you're not English. See,
I
Paul.
drink.
Well, I know, but Paul grew up. He was drinking brown ale when he was 6.
True, but
You
I
know.
do think they do that well.
Yeah. So, okay. So my question for Andreas is, so what was Daniel's deal last year? If he doesn't turn it around this year, are you looking at Pierre or a McLaren Junior program driver? And how much of Zach's other racing operations take away from the F1 program, if any?
That's a good question.
And it was a year or so ago, McLaren were really struggling with cash, right? So cash has got to be a sensitive issue. Zach's really extended in different racing programs. Does that take anything away, or do you think that takes anything away from your racing team?
That's a serious question right there.
It is a serious question. And I'm not poking at Zach. Don't get me wrong.
Right, because he's making it work, right?
Yeah, he's making it work.
I mean, I think the thing that Zach did was bring in the right people to do the right jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to start engineering the car. He's not going to start calling pit strategy. But he can oversee and knows who should be in those places. Which is what he's done. Let Seidel take control. So
you might want to stout. Those are some pretty heavy questions.
Maybe
Imperial stout even.
Yeah, right. Go all the way.
Yeah, all the way. Okay. So, Paul, what would you do with Zach since you did this?
Yeah, so Zach. Well, with Zach, obviously, as I say, I've known him for a couple of decades or 2, 3, probably.
Showed him how to drive.
No, I didn't teach him how to drive. We were both instructors at the same time.
Oh, you were both instructors at the same time.
Yeah, so we worked together. He didn't actually instruct. He was on the phone trying to make commercial deals with Benetton and things like this. I remember sitting in a shed at a corner at Indianapolis Raceway Park, I think. And we're sitting there. I'm like watching the people come through, writing notes. Oh, he's missing the apex. And there's Zach's like, just carry on. I just did a deal. I'm the commercial manager for the US for Benetton. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just do this then.
That guy's going too fast.
You thought at that time, Paul, that guy is never going to amount to anything.
I seriously thought, what kind of bullshit is that? Really? Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So Flavio just called you up and you're appointed the Benetton commercial guy for you. Yeah, sure you are.
Are you
Zach.
sure he mumbles? You should get that in writing just to make sure that's what he said.
Yeah, you sure that's what he's saying?
So I was a faster driver than Zach, but definitely not good. It was as good commercially as him. So so we got a few stories there. And then actually when he started his next business, when he got bigger and better, when he did that and started putting on driving programs with Ferraris and Lambos, and he hired me to come in and be one of the instructors for it and kind of help that in its infancy get going, etc. And then we kind of split. Our paths of life split just a little bit. So for that, I'm going to have him take me to St. Elmo's in Indianapolis.
I almost did that. I'm not kidding, because he was, big in IndyCar, all in Indianapolis, and I thought, man, I'm serious. I almost picked St. Elmo's.
Yeah.
And where else would you eat?
In Indianapolis?
Well, the
Nowhere.
hamburger place. What's the name?
Wendy's? I don't know.
No, there's a famous hamburger close to the track. It just name escapes me now, but anyway.
Well, definitely don't go to McDonald's because even if you're Indy 500 champion, you get held up there.
Yeah,
Remember
right.
that, Scott
Yes.
Dixon. Yeah.
Scott Dixon got robbed. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
The night of his Indy 500.
Keep it classy, Indy.
So so I'm going to have him take me out to a find because coming back to our roots being in Indianapolis when we were together and stuff like that.
Right.
Drink going with Crown Royal because I remember as you know I've seen Zach in different parts of his career, right? And I remember him pulling up in a motorhome at one of these driving events and he'd invite me into the motorhome and he's sitting there and he's got all this Crown Royal around him. And he was sitting there sipping Crown Royal because he'd just done the deal to bring Crown Royal to NASCAR, right? So
Nice.
that I think that really was a big deal for him
Yeah.
and the company, and that kind of started the way to where obviously he ended up now. So my question to Zach was, when did I screw it all up and lose the plot, dude?
You remember we were sitting in that box at Indy and you did the deal with Benetton? Why couldn't you just have brought me with you, you know?
Yeah.
You know, why didn't you hire me? I don't know.
What did I do it all wrong? What did I go wrong, man?
What did I do to make you upset with me? Just tell me.
I could have been somebody. I could have been a contender. Yeah.
Right.
So there you go. There's my conversation with Zach.
I like it. I like it. All right, Grace. Andreas Seidel.
All right. Well, as you were saying, money is an issue for the team. So I thought since they're basically owned by the Emiratis, we should eat Middle Eastern cuisine.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So we're going to do some shawarma. I would
something
do
from
shawarma.
Jeddah?
Yeah, but if he'd like to do
some
chicken
croissants
shawarma.
from Jeddah.
Yeah.
Right.
Some pitas, some hummus, do some baklava for dinner. I was totally thinking, we'll go Middle Eastern, right?
I love baklava.
But I'm never making it. That's what I've
No,
always.
too many
I
layers.
learned that. Never doing that.
No.
So for drink, we're gonna have mint lemonade, which is by far the greatest drink I had the whole time we were in the UAE. It doesn't seem like it'd be complicated. I can't reproduce it. I've never had it again. That was delicious. So, and I'm also going to point here that, so everything's turkey sausage, right? They have Tim Hortons. They have all the same in the UAE that, the Western restaurants or fast food places. But anyway, we ate breakfast one morning at Tim Hortons and got turkey sausage. That is by far the greatest turkey sausage I've ever had. I don't even like turkey sausage. We need to get that here. If we had that turkey sausage here, people would eat it. It was delicious. They know what they're doing. That was at the Tim Hortons. But anyway, so my conversation starter, I'm totally going with, I'm just, I'm just sharing myself with the people.
That's right.
Just having some story time. So I'm going to go with, I just want to hear his best dad jokes. He looks like the kind of guy that could share a few dad jokes with us.
Okay.
Loosen him up a little bit, right? We don't have alcohol. We're having some mint lemonade. We're going to tell some dad jokes, right?
I'm just imagining you at Tim Hortons and you got your little number 23 on the table. And, number 23, all the turkey sausage ready, And you're like, shall I go or should you go?
Well,
I'll go get it. You get a nice one, folks.
What was worse is that because if you as a woman, as an Emirati woman, they just go to the front of the line. But as a woman, most of the men will let you go first. And at some point, this poor guy was never going to get his coffee. He's clearly just trying to go to work. And I was like, I'm going to sit down. Please go get whatever you're getting, and then I'll come back. Because I just feel bad that every single woman's come in here, and you've either let them through or they've just cut in front of you. And you clearly have some place to go, and I'm just sitting here. So please, you eat, and then I'll come back.
That's interesting.
It was it was weird. It happened everywhere that the Emirati women, they just right to the front of the line. And of course, as an American, you're also sort of like, whoa, wait, I've been standing here for 20 minutes. What are you doing? Right?
Yeah, right.
Just the way. So,
and, Paul's British, so he invented queuing.
Right. Right.
Not many words with two U's in it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It was very different. Also, they don't use, there's no rules. That's the other thing too, right? And so they had the kids aren't in car seats. So we're driving down the highway, right? My friends are driving. And there's just a kid climbing over the seats like we used to do as kids, right?
Yeah, I grew up that way.
I know, but you didn't do that with your kids, did you know, right? Because so it's a very weird thing to see, just these kids just climbing in this car. You're like, what the heck? But I do also, when I listen to your podcast, this is now a longer story, your podcast with Wayne, I agree. I don't know how people get anywhere there. Rules, in the Middle East are, I don't know. I don't know how they drive. I don't know how my friends who are from here, who live there, drive. I don't know. It was crazy. Rules, there are none.
None. All right.
Zero.
I like it.
I don't know. So the rest of my conversation. Wait. The rest of my.
I thought you were done.
No, these are just me telling joyful stories about my life.
Oh, okay.
The other story, I think that McLaren, unlike the other teams, has a different perspective on how they interact with their drivers. And I think that would be an interesting thing to talk about. But Carlos and Landos yeah. Carlando and Daniel have also talked about how the support of the team is, how they, we had the issue with Lando that the team was like, whatever you want to do. And it didn't really work out for him. Right. So I think that they have a different chemistry with their drivers than the other teams seem to have. And I think that would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, that's cool.
After we got through the dad jokes.
Yeah. That's cool. I like it. Well, now we're down to the top 3. You got to bring out your A game. And we're going to start with Ferrari. So that means our guest is Mattia Binotto. Okay, so, what do you do here?
What do you do?
The guy is as Italian as you could possibly get, right? So what do? You gotta go Italian. So I'm just gonna punt on this one. I can't out Italian an Italian, right? It's impossible. Right. So I'm gonna start though with a mushroom and Fontina Cristini as an app. Because those are good.
Yeah.
For the main, I'm gonna take him to Montañas in Modena, and the reason I'm gonna do that because when I went there, they don't even hand you a menu. They just say, "What do you want?" They said, "Whatever you want." They just make whatever it is, right? So, and I couldn't talk to her because she didn't speak English and I don't speak Italian, so I had an interpreter. And I said, "Okay, I want a plate of pasta, half of it." I want Michael Schumacher's favorite recipe. And at the time, Fernando was there. So I said, the other half, I want Fernando Alonso's favorite recipe. She goes, not a problem. So that's what she brought me. They were both really good, but I favored the Schumacher because it was tomato and meat based, and Fernando's was more it just flew out of my head.
Cream?
No.
Cheese?
Pesto
Vegetables?
based.
Oh.
Pesto. Okay.
Yeah, pasta, pesto, and all that. So I would have Schumacher's pasta at Montañas with him, right? For dessert, you gotta go panna cotta, right?
Good choice.
Love a good panna cotta. And to drink, I had it when I was there. It was wonderful. You got to go Classico Chianti.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So that's what I would do. My question is this. Ferrari have suffered a series of setbacks since Luca was ousted, with much of the upper management ushered out the door. You've been there a long time, and even the recent deaths at Ferrari, the C-suite shuffles, they've all seemed to place a serious focus issue on the team and the company in general, as well as the resources issues, right? So what is going on at Ferrari? And have you stabilized the management issues? Have you found harmony and focus and commitment with the right resources to bring the team back up to the top? Or do you need, as the famous phrase goes, do you guys need to go hire an Englishman to do it for you? Which is this always big knock on Ferrari that the British always level. So that's my question for Mattia. All right, Paul, what is yours?
Well, food, I mean, I could choose whatever, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite myself to Sunday dinner at the Binotto's grandmother's house.
Great idea.
So whatever's there, I'm eating it.
There you go.
You know?
That's
and
a great idea.
That's going to be his happy place, right? You get away.
It's probably McDonald's.
I know. I was gonna say, I hope it's something really like.
You get him out.
That's why you said. That's why you said it's his grandmother's house.
Grandmother's house.
Yeah, because you know she'd make it right.
Right. She's going to make it right. He's going to be loosened up. There's not going to be the press watching him at Montana's or wherever. He's just going to start drinking whatever. And I drink whatever they're serving.
Right.
I'm just going to go with whatever they're.
Still water.
As you say, I'm not going to out Italian the Italians.
Right. No.
And that's just one of my favorite things of the Italian, the family dinners and just the craziness, and just be nice to be a part of that for one evening, and just hang out and chit chat and talk about sing songs, dance.
Play the accordion, whatever.
Yeah, play the accordion.
Having a perfectly great evening, and it's, just wonderful evening all around there. And then somebody, even ups it and brings out a violin and ruins the whole evening.
Violins ruin everything. Yeah. So my question to him, is it really real this time? I mean, obviously there's a lot of speculation. Now Ferrari has the best engine somehow, and they've been frozen somehow. I don't know how they unleashed the beast there at that point. And obviously it's a great looking car and it's showing great pace. Is this, a red herring, or is it really, the prancing horse back at it? Because, I got to make my fantasy picks pretty quick here. So I need to know this stuff. And then I also want to know how that managing the team through Zoom back and forth, being remote from the team, was that fun? But also, was that premeditated in order for him to be closer to home, to build this hopefully very fast Ferrari for the opportunity with the rule changes, etc.
Right. Good point. All right, Grace,
is it real or cheating? I think is the question you're asking.
That's a fuzzy line.
I don't know. Well, I guess according to the FIA, there was no cheating. So I think that, with Binotto, I was thinking in honor of Carlos Sainz and for yet another chef institute in DC, we're going to go with some Jose Andres Spanish tapas. Except that as I was going through what I actually like that Jose Andres restaurants have, it's all of his Mexican tapas. So we're actually going to go with some Mexican tapas. Specifically, he makes these mole fries. Are delicious.
Mole fries. Okay, do tell.
It's kind of like the poutine idea, right?
Okay, with mole sauce on top.
Mole sauce, but fantastic. So
love mole.
Yeah, and then I was like, well, maybe we could have some ceviche. Okay, so we're just going to have Mexican tapas. We'll have some chorizo. And in honor of Paul, we'll have a sliver of manchego, just so you feel like you're there.
What is this crap? Get it off my plate.
So we're going to focus.
Where real food should be.
We're going to go all tapas, mostly Mexican, but I was trying to go for Spanish.
Nice.
For the drink, we're going to go with Jose Andres' signature salt air margarita. So basically, I don't know if you're margarita drinkers, but there's always that awkward moment where you're trying to get like the salt off the rim and you lick it. You can't get it in every bite. Then your margarita doesn't taste as good. What they've perfected is this foam. So in every drink, you get the salt foam, and you never have to have that like awkward like, oh, I ran out of salt, or I got to lick it off the rim.
The foam's on top of the drink or still on the rim?
No, it floats on top of the drink. So every drink you get has a little of the salt foam in it.
You know what I hate about the salt in the rim? When it falls in the glass, and then you get into the end of the glass, and you're like, shall I? It's like drinking Turkish coffee, right? Yeah. You go, I think there's a little bit left, and he's, oh no,
it's all salty.
I got salt mouth.
The first time, maybe the only time I've ever had Turkish coffee was in Chicago in their Greek town, and I said to I was like, well, I'm here, right? Like, I'd like to try it, and she said, well, what do you want in it? And I said, I don't know, black. She said, no, what you want something in it. I was like, and so then when she brought it, I was like, you're right. I don't want to die. I'm glad you like forced me to make a decision about putting cream or sugar or something in it, but it's pretty strong. So that's what we're going to eat. Some tapas, some salt air margaritas. And for conversation, I've noted many times on this podcast that, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz have the best hair on the grid, but Binotto also has a very lovely head of hair. And it's curly. Now, I have very straight hair, not curly hair, but curly hair is its own personality, right? It's its own thing. And anybody that has curly hair, it's a process, the product. I want to know what you do. How do you keep your curls looking luxurious? And which track is your favorite for your hair? Because, again, the drier the climate, the better that hair is going to look. So it's going to be the all hair conversation, and we're going to sip our margaritas, and I'm going to just talk about how luxurious his team's hair is.
Nice. I like that. Oh.
Oh no, I just lost Paul.
Guess we won't be having dinner with Paul Charsley anymore.
Guess not.
That's a bummer. Well, hopefully he'll He'll quickly join back.
I've had enough of you people.
so Grace and I look at the stagehand. They're over there going.
He just Franz toasted us.
He did. He just did the app and he's gone.
I said I would do an hour and a half. I'm out.
Right. He said, "Hey, you're running long, guys. You should have picked it up. You're done."
I told you.
All right. So, all right, we forge on. You know, it's like losing Nikita Mazepin. Well, it is what it is. If we do, we got to keep going.
That's right.
Paul is the Nikita of this podcast, apparently. All right.
Oh, my goodness.
So, Red Bull.
Yeah.
Our guest, of course, is Christian Horner. And I, Grace, am taking Christian Horner to the south.
Oh.
That's right. Appetizer for the meal. Appetizer, sausage and cheese plate.
Good choice.
Uh-huh. The main, fried chicken, collard greens, cornbread, and black-eyed beans.
I'm delicious. That's good.
Uh-huh.
I'm
See?
in.
Yep. Going south. For dessert, gooey butter cake. Uh-huh.
This is
and
good.
To drink, 20-ounce cans of Red Bull.
Because nothing goes with like all that like
right,
rich breading on the chicken and the
right.
fat, like some Red Bull.
Like some Red Bull. Yeah, why not? It's just, it's as if he hasn't had enough of that stuff, right?
I just think I don't know which is more disturbing, that every question will just be sped up because he never drinks that much of it, or it's just so slow. Like he's adapted to it. His body has morphed into like, this is normal.
Right. So my question for Christian is this. Oh, I didn't get to my dessert.
Oh.
Actually, I was going to change that. And I was going to change my dessert to birthday cake.
Oh, yeah. It's tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to go gooey butter cake, and I had that in my notes, but this morning I was thinking about it, and I thought, no, hey, welcome back, Paul. And I was thinking,
thanks.
hey, so Paul, just to catch up, I'm taking Christian Horner South, sausage and cheese plate, fried chicken, collard greens, cornbread, and black-eyed beans, right? And for dessert, birthday cake. With a candle in it, right? I'm going to go,
awesome.
Happy birthday, Christian! Right? And I'm going to tell the waiter or waitress it's his birthday, so we got to bring a birthday cake. Yeah. So my question for Christian is this. What are you really planning to do with your engine program in 2025? Are you going to start making your own, or will you team up with VW and like the Porsche Audi guys or whatever? Also, if the roles were reversed, would you not be apoplectic with the result of Abu Dhabi? And what would you have done to remedy it?
Ooh.
Oh.
Wow.
Tough
That's
question.
going to be an awkward silence right there.
Right. Oh, and Paul, I forgot to tell you, for drink, 20-ounce cans of Red Bull.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. All right, Paul, hit us. Christian Horner.
Christian Horner. Okay. Well, Christian's very British, lives in the countryside there a little bit. So I figure there's a nice, lovely gastropub, which Grace, she said she doesn't like English food. There's a lot of really good food in England.
Right.
So, and you find a lot of it at the low-key gastropubs there. Very creative, very good quality, etc. So a nice gastropub with a pie and mash, maybe some mushy peas on the side, just something real English, but really at a very high level, so we could sit there and tuck in and get in deep with the conversation. But he does have to bring Jerry Howell with him. So just to kind of be a filler.
Nice lady. Nice lady.
Yeah. What did you say, Christian? Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I didn't catch that. Yeah.
So what was Baby Spice like? Tell me about Sporty Spice.
Was she there? Was Scary Spice really that scary?
Yeah.
Does this gastropub have karaoke? Like, we could just go sing some Spice Girls.
Right.
See you later, Christian, right?
Probably not. But
you should just sing anyway.
Yeah, should. So I'm definitely going with a beer on tap, a nice Fuller's, one of my faves.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to go wherever the pub is that has a good bountiful pints of Fuller's as we're chatting away there. But my big question for Christian would be, okay, everyone saw the celebrity cage match stuff, right? Who would you rather fight in the celebrity cage match? Would it be Cyril? Or would it be Toto? And if you did, who's going to win and how are you going to beat him?
Well, that's a good question.
I like it.
Very creative.
Oh, that's great. Oh, boy. That's good. All right. Grace, Red Bull,
So-
Christian Horner.
I was originally going to take him to Chuck E. Cheese for his birthday
Nice.
because it would be annoying, which I would
Yeah.
annoy Christian Horner, which I enjoy.
Probably a little
And,
ski
He,
ball with
he
him.
enjoys being annoyed too, apparently.
There you go.
Yeah,
See,
he
it's
likes it.
perfect. But I ended up going with a little more sophisticated than Chuck E. Cheese. And since Red Bull is actually derived from a Thai energy drink, right? That
Yeah.
was then that Didi tweaked for the Western palate and made Red Bull. We're going to have some Thai curry. So I prefer Massaman curry. And so I think that's nice. For a starter, we'd have some Tom Kha soup. Nice coconut, little spicy, good to go.
Yeah, I find that a little bland though.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
well, I mean, you could have it without the coconut milk. Is that what you find is, then it's the little less, you could have Tom Yum without the coconut milk.
Maybe it was Tom Yum I'm thinking of. I don't remember. No, I tried
Paul's
Thai
like-
soups.
Paul's like, I find it bland. You can't out Indian food an Englishman. It can't be done.
No, just in general, I love Thai food, but their
Yeah.
soups in general have left me, wanting
Alright.
more.
All right.
That's
So Thai food you love, just that soup. Okay.
Not so much.
Go
Well,
ahead, Grace. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to go with, you haven't had a good soup then. I don't know. But one has coconut milk, one doesn't. So kind of
Yep.
the coconut could wash everything out for you. But anyway, I'd also let him get a Penang curry if he preferred that. But I like a
Yummy.
good Massaman curry. So, and then for dessert, we're going to go with sticky rice with mango. For drink, I'm also going on a similar caffeine thread here. We're going to get some Thai iced teas, which for those who don't know, it's like this much, like really dark, heavy, really
Very
strong
sweet.
tea. And then the top is just cream. And the cream just like sinks into the tea part of it, right? But it's delicious. And if he wasn't into Thai iced tea, you could also do a German Riesling. Kind of goes well with the Thai food. So
Nice.
do that. For conversation, I want all the Spice Girl talk. I was a teenager in the 90s. I don't want to talk about Christian Horner. I just want to talk about what is it like to be married to a Spice Girl? What's it like to be in public and have people recognize Jerry and have no idea who the heck you are? How does that work for you, right? What is Mel B really like, right? These are the questions I want to know the answer to. And if we run out of Spice Girl convo, then we're just going to talk about Adrian Newey. What's it like working with Adrian Newey? What's his system like? How does he design a car? We're not talking about Christian at all. We're just going to talk about other people that people know about that just kind of happen to be, in his orbit.
Yeah. Right.
No
Got it.
Christian Horner talk.
No Christian Horner. No
Everybody
Christian
else,
Horner.
though.
All right.
Right.
I like it. All right. Well, you know where that leaves us. Down at the bottom. Oh, yeah. Down at Mercedes.
Get down.
That means it is time to have dinner with the elusive and enigmatic Toto Wolff. Okay, Paul. This is just the kind of fun that I like to have. Since we're basically going to go have a Belgian and Dutch dinner.
Going Dutch meaning you're splitting the bill?
No. No. Like West Flanders, Belgium, Dutch,
You're going to make Toto pay half.
and we're doing that because that's the nationality of Max Verstappen.
Right.
He's of
Nice.
Belgian Dutch descent, right?
Right.
So I figure he's come around. He can face his demons now. They've put all that behind him. And in honor of Max, for whatever reason, we're just going to go and have a Belgian Dutch dinner. Actually, I've been to Belgium a couple times. I really love their food. All right. So here's the app, Belgian frites with mayo,
Of course.
of course,
With
right?
mayo, as you should.
Okay, so for the main
Yes.
course, I can't pronounce it because I'm American, but it's like a smoky split pea soup with sausage, onions, and carrots in it.
Okay.
It's Urton soap. I don't know how they pronounce it, but that's how I pronounce it.
They have that in Luxembourg also, evidently.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Luxembourg's
You
toddling
could
town over there in
You could have
Luxembourg.
some
isn't
with Mike Crack if you'd like.
it? I might. Damn it, Mike owes me. The dessert, Belgian chocolate, of course. Gotta go with
For
Belgian
sure.
chocolate. Yes. To drink, a Chimay.
Nice choice.
Of course.
Possibly, if we want to keep it Dutch, a Dutch triple. All right. So I'm just
Okay.
saying.
Good.
Either way, you're winning.
Yep,
That's
I'm
right.
winning either way.
I'm
All right.
just not sure how Toto's taking this.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, he was like, what the?
Get down.
Right? Yeah, and we get yeah, exactly. I know how you'd be taking it.
Wait till you get that email. Todd, did you get my email?
Right. Toto be like,
Put that cookie down now.
right? Wouldn't like it. So my question for Toto is this. You are the head of a terrific organization and a 7-time champ. But from the outside looking in, I would say that we see more of an impact of Lewis on you, that Lewis has had more of an impact on you than the other way around from the outside looking in. And I'm curious, how have you had a major impact on a galvanizing character, such a galvanizing character as 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton? How do you, I mean, this guy's a 7-time champ. How have you made an impact in his life? And I'm curious about that because on the outside, it kind of looks the other way around. And are you prepared to go all in with George if that means upsetting Lewis? Like if George miraculously came in and threw it down, right? And had the measure and was leading in the points and going, would you be willing to go all in behind George at the risk of upsetting a 7-time champ who you want to get to 8 titles? That's my question.
Oof. His outfits. That's what Toto Wolff has brought to Lewis Hamilton. The outfits.
Right. And do you wear Tommy Hilfiger Lewis Hamilton collection?
Yeah.
If not, why not?
Do they make a white shirt and black pants? Then Toto Wolff's in.
yeah, that's right.
Right.
That is right.
Right. All right, Paul. Mercedes,
All right.
Toto Wolff.
So I think this is going to be the meal upon, out of all of them, the most entertaining. I mean, I you know, there's certain things about that Toto's done and said that I don't agree with, but overall, I think he'd be quite the fun,
A dinner guest,
evening dinner guest, right? So
too.
I think it's going to be a long one, right? So
Yep.
I mean, he's going to show up in his, as Grace said, his white shirt. He's be unbuttoned a little bit.
Yeah.
He's going to pull up his sleeves. He's going to kick back, and he's going to be ready just to have a good time. I can just see it, right? See, there's not a race coming up. We're just going to relax. We're going to kick back.
Right.
We're going to keep chatting away here. So for that reason, I chose Spanish tapas
Good choice.
because
Long meal.
that meal can last a long time, as you
Yeah.
know, right, Todd?
Yep.
So we can start off small. We just keep going, a little bite here, there. A lot of vino, though. A lot of
Yes.
wine. You know, we're going to have sangria. We're going to do shots. We're going to do pretty much run the gamut, end with some port. I mean, everything that's been discussed here is going to happen in this meal, basically. And so, we're going to loosen them up. We're going to ask questions. We're going to have a laugh. We're going to, get angry. We're going to hug it out. It's going to be a very, very deep emotion.
We're going to hug it out.
Will there be an inflatable dolphin involved at the end of the night?
It could be. I think
Gorilla
we should
suit.
probably invite Kimmy over just to kind of add some fun for the evening. But yeah, it's going to be long drawn out. It's going to be a good time. Probably the guy I'd probably like most, if you out of all these, if said you get to eat and drink and have a chat with him, this is the man I would want to do it with, right? So
Yeah.
there's so many questions you could ask Toto. One serious one would be, how did you go back to your factory and explain how you didn't represent your team at the awards when the team won a championship? It wasn't a Lewis Hamilton championship. It was a team championship. And you chose, for whatever reason, to back Lewis somehow and I didn't see this as backing Lewis or not backing Lewis. I kind of saw it as kind of letting your team down by not representing the championship that everyone had worked hard for, even if Lewis didn't win the individual championship, right?
Right. You got 1,500 men and women that worked their tail off to win that constructors championship.
Right. And I've loved Toto. I think he's great, but that was like a real tough one for me to respect him for when he didn't do that.
I felt the same way. I totally understand supporting Lewis. I get it.
Right, but not in deference to supporting your team, right?
Right.
So team
right.
gets you there too. So,
Yeah,
and then the other one would be Nico Rosberg. Love him or hate him. So,
I think I know the answer to that. Anyway, all right, Grace.
Okay, so this one I'm gonna go because I agree with you guys, right? Like this would be the most fun one. So we're gonna do this one a little different. We're gonna learn how to make schnitzel because I feel like Toto Wolff needs some like aggression management, right? Like, because that's always the thing. Right? We always see him pounding his fist. So we're gonna take that energy and we're gonna put it into a meat mallet, and we're gonna flatten some chicken or veal or pork or whatever kind of schnitzel you'd like to eat, right?
Perfect.
Make this constructive for all that therapy to come out.
So
we're gonna make some. We're gonna learn how to make some schnitzel, and I mean, right? You could also bake bread, but I don't know how to bake, so. Because that also
there's a lot of sitting around in bread. I think making something's a good idea.
True.
Yeah, me too.
Right,
interactive.
But that dough slamming also looks like it would be pretty cathartic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we're just going to have your straight up German. We're going to have some schnitzel. We're going to have spatzel, sauerkraut, apple strudel, the whole 9 yards. I prefer Wiener Schnitzel, which is veal, but he can pick whatever he wants. That's what we're doing. Full on German food. We're going to have a nice dark lager from Germany. Whatever.
No Liebfraumilch? Oh.
No.
Okay.
Just gonna... So
a Riesling? No.
I don't know. I guess you could do that with schnitzel. But anyway, I think that I also want him to bring Susie because I think that would also make it for fun, right? Bring both of them there.
Probably more fun. I bet Susie is quite the conversationalist.
Exactly. So
let me tell you this about Toto.
Yeah.
So
I'm faster than Toto.
This is why, because what I really want to hear from Toto Wolff is as many Niki Lauda stories as he can share with me.
Right.
And then if we run out of Niki Lauda stories, which seems impossible, but if that happens, then we could just share stories about our spouses, right? Susie could be like, oh my God, can you believe that he just doesn't know how to fold a towel? And I'll be like, I know, man, right? Like, can't you fold a freaking towel? Is this so foreign? You just jam it in there, and then you're like, why does my towel smell bad? I don't know. You have to fold it and put it in the little rack. So if we run out of, Niki Lauda stories, we can always just tell, like, funny stories about our spouses. So that's my plan.
I love it. I love it.
Toto.
Well, that is what we would eat and drink and discuss with team bosses, all 10 of them. But let us know which boss you would eat and drink with and what question you would ask. I just thought it would be fun to talk a little bit more about food, a little bit more about team bosses and what we think they would like to eat based on who they are and drink. And hope you enjoyed that. But all right, it's a long podcast. Got to back out of the podcast. Grace, Paul, thank you so much for sharing your food recommendations and your question for your team bosses. But if you like this podcast, go over to iTunes, give us a good rating over there. We would not and could not do this without our Patreon supporters, so thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter. If you are, if you're not, find a Patreon supporter, pat them on the back, and tell them thank you because you guys are awesome. And until next week, when we come back, yes, there's some news. I know Nikita and the whole, I know, got all that going on. Lewis's new tattoos. I know. We'll talk about it. So when we come back and do it all over again next week, this is Todd, aka Negative Camber, saying so long.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.